It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio with us today. Catherine Chapman, the director for Yavapai Family Advocacy Center, is in studio with us today. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you.
As you reminded me, it's been a while since we've talked to you here.
Yes.
We are going to talk about Start by Believing, the campaign. And I first became aware of this back in, I want to say September, October. I know Deputy Chief Andy Reinhardt from Prescott PD and then Prescott Lieutenant Ken Morley. Both went off and did some training on this, and I was kind of talking to them about that, and then I was going to have them come in and talk about their training for this, but then you sent out this press release to kind of bring awareness to the county, and I thought, well, you'd be a better choice.
Thanks.
You're much better to look at than those two guys, that's for sure.
I'll let them know that.
Yeah, okay, I'll let them know myself. Let's start off with what is End Violence Against Women International?
End Violence Against Women International is a national organization that really is focusing on three things for this campaign. They want to strengthen a community's response to victims of sexual assault. They want to be more aggressive or see more aggressive investigations and prosecutions. And then they want to see that our whole community is safer and secure.
Now, when you say sexual assault, are we talking about women, men, children, all that, or is this focusing on a particular group?
Sexual assault encompasses everybody. Most often, or more times than not, it's women that are being victimized. But it does happen to men, and it happens to both little girls and little boys.
Okay. All right, so it is everybody. All right, let's go with the Start by Believing. Kind of fill me in on what is Start by Believing.
It's a national campaign. That it's a community awareness campaign that is trying to change the response to victims. Right now, we tend to have a very negative response when someone has been sexually assaulted. If someone comes to you and says, I've been raped, what might be your first reaction? You might say to them, well, you know, why were you out late last night? You know, why were you drinking? What were you thinking? Why were you wearing what you were wearing? So then the victim starts to internalize that and believe that they're to blame for this, which causes them to not report their sexual assault. So if we can change that into a more positive response, saying things like, I'm very sorry that this happened. I would love to help you. I can help you find resources in the community. What else can I do for you? A way to provide compassion and support for them.
Why are police agencies going through this? Because I would imagine a police agency, if I were to report that I was raped, they should take me seriously until proven otherwise.
It's not just focused on law enforcement. It's focused on everybody in the community. It's focused family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, criminal justice system as a whole, not just law enforcement, and also the media in changing people's response. I think for law enforcement, if they start by believing, they're more likely that the victim will report this in the first place, more likely to seek healing services, and more likely to cooperate with the investigation, which will provide a stronger case for the law enforcement officer, and which leads to stronger prosecution. If we can put the bad person away, then we will have a safer community.
So some areas in Yavapai County have already proclaimed this.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
We're very excited. Prescott was the second community in Arizona to adopt this.
Who was first?
Apache Junction.
Okay.
So their city council read a proclamation adopting this Start by Believing campaign.
And now I think it was, according to what you say here, was like last September that happened.
September 3rd.
September 3rd, okay.
And Prescott Valley came next, and they were September 26th. Camp Verde followed quickly after that. And Yavapai County was just a couple of weeks ago at their County Board of Supervisors meeting. And then we just did on the 14th Chino Valley. So we just have
Chino Valley too. Then.
We just have a few communities left, and then we'll have Yavapai County is actually the first county in the state of Arizona to adopt this campaign. We're just so excited about that.
So by proclaiming this, what does this mean?
It means that they will support victims, that they are sending a message out to the community that we will believe you, we will support you, we will do everything we can to hook up the bad person and provide services for you.
Is somebody going around the different counties and talking about this as well? Because I know you're kind of in Yavapai County. You're dealing with Yavapai County.
Yes. I know that Chief Monahan from Prescott has done a lot of work across the state for a lot of different things, domestic violence, sexual assault. So I believe that he's been out in other communities. I'm not sure what other ones are doing.
Okay. I remember there was a case last year, and I think the viewers and listeners remember too, in Coconino County, there was a judge that, there was a former DPS officer that accosted a woman inside a bar. And there was a big hoopla came up because the judge had told her during the court case proceedings that if she hadn't been dressed the way she was dressed and in the bar that night, this wouldn't have happened to her. And when I saw this, you sent this to me, and that clicked in my head that, wow, you know, that is, I remember the community was in uproar that she actually said something like that to a woman. And that's exactly what we're trying to stop.
Exactly. We're trying to, because if you're sitting there in the courtroom and the judge is saying that to you.
A judge.
Someone who's in authority, who is turning the tables on you instead of the perpetrator, it just sends that deep message that I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't have reported it, it's my fault. This won't stop. If one failed response to a sexual assault victim is likely to cause a perpetrator to sexually assault 5 more times. So we've got 6 cases now in our community. So if we can change those responses and strengthen what we can do for victims, that likely will not happen.
What do you think the odds are something like that being said? If you're in the courtroom and this is being said to you, and then now it's all over the media, that is, anybody who is in earshot of that's been raped or sexually assaulted is going to think, oh wow, so this is how it works in the court system.
Yes.
Well, why would I even bother say anything about this then? What happens to those people that are internalizing this kind of stuff?
Well, when you think about what happens with a sexual assault victim, what they're going through in their trauma at the moment, and what they're facing with possibly having to do a sexual assault nurse exam, which is lengthy and very intrusive, but it's necessary to get DNA evidence to prove the case. So they have to go through that. They have to go through a gauntlet of family and friends, believing or not believing, because if somebody has said that, that causes doubt in other people's mind. And then they have to go through the court case. So that can be lengthy.
It is lengthy.
It's lengthy, and the victim then has to relive that trauma, that traumatic event that they went through in the courtroom in front of everybody else.
Now, does this program, for a rape victim, does it help him as they go through that process to kind of, because the court process is a long process, and I can just see where, and I think it's done deliberately that way sometimes because people die, people forget, things get lost, you know, drag it out, and some of this stuff is going to drop off the wayside, and it's going to look better for my defendant here. How do we keep them focused and determined to put this person away?
Well,
is that part of it?
Everybody has their right to fair trial. So I think people are very worried about being falsely accused of this, and we don't want to send the wrong person to prison or to jail.
Sure.
The facts are that only 2 to 8% are false reports. So out of 1,000 cases, what does that add up? 2 cases?
Yeah.
It's a huge number of the cases that, you know, we can believe and go forward with. So that's why the court process, it's lengthy with any type of case, and these are dealing with people's behaviors, emotions, a lot of things that you have to sort through, and no one knows the truth other than the 2 people that are sitting in the courtroom, the victim and the perpetrator.
Right, right. Let's take our first break, okay?
Okay.
Yavapai County Family Advocacy Center Director Catherine Chapman in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We're talking about Start by Believing campaign in Arizona. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Welcome back to Countywide. Great to have you in studio today. Yavapai Family Advocacy Center Director Catherine, oh my gosh.
Catherine Chapman.
Catherine Chapman. I was going to say Kathy McLaughlin because she ran it for so long. I just totally went blank.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
And she's still really a big part of the agency. I work with her a lot, so it's wonderful to have her as a mentor.
Yeah, and a mistake on my show today.
No, it's fine.
Let me read something real quick. We had some statistics come out. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, sexual assault is one of the most underreported crimes, with 60% still being left unreported. And that's what this campaign is all about, to get that 60% to come in the doors and talk about it. Out of 100 rapes, 40 get reported to police, 10 lead to an arrest, 8 get prosecuted, 4 lead to a felony conviction. Only 3% of rapists will ever spend even a single day in prison. That is a really small percentage, real small percentage. Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network research also documents that rapists attack on average 6 times, which you mentioned that. If they do it once, and we actually saw proof of that, and I hate to bring up Flagstaff again, but that's what occurred up there just this last year, where they had, the first case was a woman who was found beaten very badly in a motel room, and it wasn't really, the story was released, but it wasn't made to sound like it was a rape or anything like that. It was a sexual assault, but it seemed like it was a willing partner type thing that happened, which doesn't make it right, but that's how it was brought up. Well, then the same suspect, all of a sudden, somebody was walking home from downtown area, and boom, that person was attacked. And then just a little while later, boom, there was another attack and another attack. And I think over a 5-6 month period, there were, I want to say 3 or 4 women that had been attacked. So police put an undercover female detectives out there. And I remember Prescott Police were getting ready to send one of theirs up there as well. And just on one night, it just happened that this one female detective thought, okay, this guy fits the description. Let's see what happens. And sure enough, he literally scooped her up over his shoulder and started to walk away with her. And she was, of course, able to stop him and stuff. But that shows me right there that's very true, that if you get away with it once, maybe I can get away with it again and again and again. What's the message there? That women, when this happens, men, when this happens, kids, when this happens?
Well, I think that there's danger out there everywhere in our communities. Even though this was an example of Flagstaff, it's happening in Prescott, it's happening in Prescott Valley, it's happening in Sedona. All over the country this is happening in cases like this that are very similar. The message is that victims or just vulnerable people, it could be anybody, it could be you, it could be me. We just have to be really kind of cautious about what we do in our lives, unfortunately. We don't really have the freedom to come and go as we please. That we need to just be aware of our surroundings, When we're coming and going out of the grocery store, make sure that you don't have your cell phone glued to your ear, that you're aware of what's going around. Don't have your headphones in your ear so you can't hear, or your senses are being blocked in some way. Just going places with friends, making sure that you're with somebody all the time will keep you a lot safer. When you're at a party, making sure that you have your eye on your drink all the time. That happens a lot. People think that it's the stranger that's going to take you. It's more often 2/3 of the time is going to be someone that you know.
That's crazy.
Or someone that you've just met. So they're going to maybe put something in your drink. It's a crime of opportunity, or it's a crime of violence.
What it tells me too is that first victim has definitely got to come forward and say something.
Yes.
Because it kept saying in this release that you sent that if the first one doesn't, odds are there might be 5 more.
And the first one might come forward, and if we don't start believing and don't start doing what we're supposed to be doing, that victim will very easily just not want to participate in the rest of it. Say, I just want to put all this behind me. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to get the exam. I just don't want to think about it anymore. It's very easy for a victim to do that. So it's when you think about a sexual assault victim, how brave that they are and courageous to come forward and tell people what happened, that's when we need to start supporting them.
My daughter comes to me and tells me this, let's say. She says she's been raped. My response, of course, should be, wow, sorry, really horrible. What is my responsibility, not law enforcement, not you at the Advocacy Center, but what is me? What is my role on this? What if they don't, what if they confide in me on this, but then they're saying, no, don't you make me go to the police, don't make me do this, don't make me do that. How do we convince that person to go ahead and move forward with that and report it?
Well, a victim does not have to report this. I mean, they have every right to not report this, but what you could do is bring them to the Yavapai Family Advocacy Center. We have advocates there who can talk to your daughter or another person who's been assaulted and walk through the steps of this is what the process is. These are feelings that you're going to feel that are normal when someone's been sexually assaulted. This is how we can help you. There's lots of resources in our community. There's resources nationally, online. And then we can get you into a counseling appointment so that you can process this. So this does not have lifelong consequences for you.
How do I get them to that point, though? How do I convince someone of that?
You're not going to make them do anything. You're just going to support them. You're going to be there for them. I think listening is probably one of the biggest things that you could do. If they're not ready to come forward, they're just not ready. So knowing that they have someone else that they can connect with, that will listen to them, that will hear what they have to say, good or bad. They may have done something that you wouldn't have done, but instead of blaming them, just sitting with them and going, I'm really sorry. Let's talk about this. You may not want to talk about it right now, but I'm always here for you.
I guess the wrong thing would be to say, if you don't report this, there could be 5 more victims coming down the road. Because now you've got a lot of pressure.
Now you're reblaming the victim again if you don't do this.
I wouldn't be very good at that then. Yeah, because that's the first thing I would think about right now, talking to you about this right now, is that, well, if you don't report this, there could be more. So don't you feel like you should go talk about it?
If they were a victim of a car accident or a robbery, per se, would you start blaming them for having their stuff in their house, or would you blame them for being on the road? You have to kind of think about what your response for that would be. And so why would sexual assault be any different? Why are we turning it and not blaming or putting the onus on the perpetrator where it should be? They're the ones that shouldn't be doing that behavior.
Right. They're the ones at fault, the only one at fault.
Yes, absolutely.
Catherine Chapman from the Yavapai Family Advocacy Center is in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
One of the areas still maturing in an adolescent brain is the prefrontal cortex. So when we take drugs, we alter key motivational circuits, changing the wiring needed for the cognitive function of the brain, until we can't totally deal with things like memory, thinking things out, and even learning stuff.
The signs are there. So is our help. Visit the partnership at drugfree.org for practical advice on coping with teen drug use.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it, I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program, and just during the break there, Catherine and I were talking about how's the program doing so far? You said it's just kind of underway.
Yes,
but how's it coming so far?
We've just done all of most of our city council and town council proclamations and the board of supervisors. So getting that community to adopt it in the first place. It's been a national statistic that when Start by Believing was introduced into communities, that the rate of sexual assault reports went up, and that the increase in survivors seeking services went up. So we're hoping to see a lot of that. It hasn't happened yet, but getting on a show like this or going out and talking to organizations, getting that community awareness going. We do want to create billboards or posters or pamphlets or whatever, but that all takes money to do that. So we are seeking sponsorships to help us with this campaign.
How do we go about doing that?
Well, just if there's a business that believes in this, or an individual or an organization that would like to contribute, they can either call myself. It will all go into a Start by Believing fund, or you could I know Chief Monahan at Prescott is also involved in this. It's probably better to call myself and get it in through a nonprofit so that we can, I guess, have the money go where it needs to go. And
what number should we call?
We should call 928-775-0669.
775
0669.
0669.
And that's the Yavapai Family Advocacy Center number.
Okay, and ask for Catherine Chapman, right? Not Kathy McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Catherine Chapman.
Yeah, you can ask for either. I'll answer to both.
Okay, all right. All right, well, I'm going to beat myself up for the rest of the day on that one. Anyways, we're out of time, so it was very good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. It's a good campaign. I like it. I think it's going to be a big help, because I'm really surprised to hear that people are so worried about coming forward. But then you hear some stories and you understand why they are so worried about coming forward. Yavapai Family Advocacy Center Director Catherine Chapman was in studio today. I'm Paul David. That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.